Circuit Court is now in session with the Honorable Brian K. Kirkham presiding, calling case 2024-3394 DM Brianna McDermott versus Kyle McDermott. Today is Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 at 9:26 a.m.
Court will note the appearance of Mr. Todd on behalf of the plaintiff, defendant appearing in pro per. There are two matters before the court: the plaintiff's motion for temporary custody, parenting time, and defendant's motion to determine child born out of wedlock. We'll address Mr. Todd's motion first. I guess I'll ask Mr. Derman, in consideration of your motion, are you contesting or disputing custody or anything?
Your Honor, I'm disputing the custody of the oldest child.
Okay. Okay. Then go ahead, Mr. Todd.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the parties separated in September when a PPO was granted. Since that point, the PPO has in fact been violated. Since separation, defendant has had no contact and no parenting time. The motion actually is not necessarily accurate at this point. Mr. McDermott did request some parenting time in late November, and my client indicated that that would be fine as long as it was with a third party neutral, or alternatively, it could be supervised by his mother. We do believe it's in the best interest of the children for mother to retain sole legal and sole physical custody, with parenting time only being supervised. We've outlined those reasons in the motion. Defendant has not spent one overnight alone with the children ever, including prior to separation. Defendant has significant anger issues. He has chased one of the children up the stairs, saying he will beat their butt. That child was 6 years old. We have a recording of this. Additionally, defendant has a pretty significant criminal history. He pled guilty in 2023 to assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder. During this particular incident, he was drunk. He forced plaintiff downstairs, holding her hands behind her back, and began to choke her while she was calling 911. And also he had a hatchet and was threatening her. Defendant has uncontrollable fits of rage and anger. Additionally, he cannot provide a stable or consistent environment for the children in any way. In June of 2024, there was an incident where he was drunk, put the children in the car, and then proceeded to do burnouts. In July of 24, there was an incident where a defendant threatened to murder someone. The children woke up during this incident, and then defendant started to yell at the children. Later in July of 2024, there was an incident where a defendant was drunk, yelling at both plaintiff and the children, calling them pussies, and saying that he would teach them a lesson. We have a recording of that. In August of 2024, there was an incident when defendant was drunk. He cut off the power to the home, and plaintiff woke up. Defendant had jelly covered on his face and was holding a knife. We have pictures of this incident as well. Additionally, there was a hit and run, which defendant admitted to, and we have this in recording. Given all this, we believe it's appropriate that he obtain a psychological evaluation and comply with any and all recommendations prior to any unsupervised parenting time. This behavior is continuing to get more aggressive and worse and uncontrollable. Alternatively, my client is a stable income as a teacher and a stable home for the children, has a strong connection with the children, and we are requesting child support to be backdated from the date that we filed this. So in total, we're requesting sole custody be given to my client, defendant complete a psychological evaluation and comply with any recommendations prior to unsupervised parenting time, but he can have supervised parenting time through a third party neutral, or alternatively his mother, and we would respectfully request that that be limited to 3 hours per week.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McDermott, what's your response?
Your Honor, well, she's accused me of being extremely intoxicated multiple times, even to the point where telling my parents that I'm drunk in the driveway. And my dad actually would come over and make surprise visits and find that I had not drank anything. I was not drinking during the burnouts. When I got arrested for putting my hands on her, I went through the entire program, and she dropped the charges at the day of my court date, and the state picked it up. I went through their entire program, was released off probation early, and I was even offered a job. The reason I've had no overnights is because I don't quite understand the PPO, and I was seeing my children at the house up until 11/17/24 when the talk of splitting items and divorce came up. And I do have this on recording. And then 11/24, she had canceled on me. I had a visit on 11/25, a video visit. And all these incidents where apparently I was drunk and obscene, my question is, how come the police were never called then if I was such a danger? And I apologize, Your Honor, for this, but I did actually go to Berry County Mental Health and had an evaluation done, but I didn't get my letter back until Saturday, so I wasn't able to send out the appropriate copies. But I do have that, and I was going to send those in today.
Great. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Todd?
No, Your Honor, but I guess just the PPO does allow for peaceful contact as it relates to the children.
Well, what the court will do in the interim, the court will grant to the plaintiff legal and physical custody support pursuant to guidelines to the date of notice of your motion, Mr. Todd. Court would allow supervised parenting time for up to 5 hours on Saturday from 12 o'clock noon to 5 o'clock p.m. That could be exercised at his mother's home or at some other third party that the plaintiff would approve and agree to. And Mr. McDermott, you'll have to provide that psychological evaluation to Mr. Todd within 7 days of today's day.
Yes, Your Honor.
That will take care of that part. Mr. McDermott, now we'll address your motion to determine child born out of wedlock. Go ahead, sir.
Well, when I had met the plaintiff, she was already pregnant, and she kept his real father out of his life for about 2 years. And after that, I mean, he has been seeing him all the time. He's over there almost every weekend. And I just don't feel it necessary for me to have to pay support when his real father is seeing him consistently. And as far as me signing the birth certificate, be honest, I really didn't even know what I was signing.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. Mr. Todd had filed a response which was consistent with what this court had was thinking when I found this. Mr. McDermott, pursuant to the statute, which is 722.1441, you're required to take action and file your action within 3 years of the child's birth. Child's 8 years old, so you've missed the statute of limitations for filing this action. What's your response to that, sir?
Your Honor, I was not aware of that.
Okay.
Hey everybody, welcome to American Courts. We have Linus with us tonight. Hi Linus.
What's up, everybody?
We've got
How you
another
doing?
guest. We've got another guest too, but he's running late, so Linus is going to just have to be entertaining tonight. Thank you guys.
Shame.
Thank you guys for coming early. That's funny. It's funny. Well, gotta take away his name. I had Fozzie's name up there. We're gonna show a couple of videos. We got Judge McNally. We got an old squishy gardener one with Judge Ricky. I watched earlier today and I thought it was fun. Thought I'd want to share with you guys.
Good.
I've been driving most of the day, so I didn't really have much time to do much anything. Critter loves your hair. She never compliments my hair,
Thank you
though.
very much.
Critter's
Yeah,
never-
it's a shame. It's looking good. It's looking great. Very
Yeah.
shiny. Very healthy, you know?
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go to Raven said hi, Fozzie. It's female Fozzie. Okay, so she's just at Fozzie's house, and so that's where the mix-up is. Yeah, we're
There
gonna
you
start
go.
that rumor.
Yeah.
No, I was
look
gonna have
like-
Fozzie on here, and he's having technical issues, and so I threw Linus on, and I wasn't able to change the name. I wasn't paying attention, so I will learn. I will get better, and I'll do some stuff. I keep trying to get Allie back on the show, but Allie don't want to come back on the show for some reason. No.
That's so mean of her.
Yeah. So
Jeez. You gotta come back, man.
yeah, Bracken wants to be a guest, and so
Yeah, sure, you know,
Yep.
everybody can be a guest.
yep. So Critter, absolutely.
Oh,
My face was shaved in the last 2 to 3 minutes. I'm just right before I went on the show, and so I literally got home, washed my truck, went in, got the videos ready, and cleaned up so I could do the show. And so, all right, let's go to Judge McNally. I like Judge McNally, so I'm gonna throw it to that one. You're not on the screen, but that'll work.
Like the guy too.
Where's Mr. Carmen on this again? Do I have a police report? I'm a babysitter, you know that? That's what I am.
They're down here getting a copy of the police report. I'm printing it.
All right, people against Samuel Lee Hill, 25W727451. Your name?
My name, Your Honor, Samuel Lee Hill.
Michael A. Carmen, P73824 on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, this is going to be a no contest plea under 7694A, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was this the relationship here? Did they reside together?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so do you understand if you plead no contest, I'll take this still under 7694A. I'll defer the proceedings, set terms and conditions, and if you are compliant, at the end of the specified period of time that I set, the case will be dismissed on motion of the prosecutor. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, I want you to understand that a no contest plea has the same effect as a guilty plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Lisa, he had another case here where there was no judicial segment on a domestic. Can you check on that in the computer, please? Did you
It's open
sign,
with
read,
us.
and understand? It looks like it. It was charged back in September of 23. And I don't know, maybe it was dismissed and it's the same case, but I don't.
It was dismissed. It has an offense date of September 29th of 23.
Right, okay. Who's Melinda King? What is going on here? This is not a police report. You guys sent me,
And I emailed her the discovery packet and asked to print the report.
this is
I think it's a few pages back, Judge. I just printed everything.
this is a petition for appointment of guardian that must have been filed in conjunction with the other case.
Oh, I handed him the wrong thing. Sorry.
No worries. You know, I don't mind doing this. You know, the rule says technically it has to be a guilty plea. You understand that, right?
I understand, Your Honor. Appreciate the court's discretion.
Well, they're agreeing to it, so I don't have a problem.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna have a problem if people don't bring me police reports in the future. I just don't want our staff running around. I don't know why they don't have hard copies in their file.
Good question, Your Honor.
They should. To the charge of domestic violence, how do you wish to plead?
No contest, Your
All right,
Honor.
let me review the report here. This is his mother. I'm not gonna take a no contest plea as his mother. She's not gonna sue him.
Your Honor, it's for lack of memory. He doesn't remember. He was prescribed bipolar medication. At that time, he was not taking them. He does not remember.
Is that true, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't care. I'm gonna take the plea. I'll take it under 7694A. I'm gonna order a screening and assessment. I don't care what kind of drugs or alcohol. I don't care if you've had 15 pints of whiskey and and fentanyl and everything else. You assault your own mother. There's nothing funny about this. Is that her in the back?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, wait a minute. She didn't drive you here.
No, Your Honor.
How'd you get here?
It was
Don't lie to me. How'd you get here?
my stepdad, Your Honor.
Where's your stepdad?
He dropped me off, Your Honor.
You know that's a violation. You haven't had any contact with her, have you?
No, Your Honor.
This is a bond condition. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Screening and assessment is ordered. We'll give you a sentence date. Boy, I'll tell you what. You better get your act together. I don't like assault cases to begin with, but your own mother? Your own mother? I don't know about you. You only got one of them. I only have one of them. You only have one of them. And there's nobody that's going to know you longer than your own mother. You're coming back for a sentencing. I'm telling you, you better stay straight and narrow with me. You understand what I'm telling you?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm glad to hear that. Because otherwise you're going to force me to do something I don't want to do. I just don't understand this nonsense. People assaulting their own mother. Give me a sentence date, please, Lisa.
February 4th at 8:30.
Did you hear that, sir? Go down the hall, get your notice, go over to probation, fill out a questionnaire, and be interviewed, and don't you even look at your mom on the way out. Do you understand that?
Are the lips being taken off or?
No. For what? What lifts?
Contact.
Why would I do that when even though you're sitting here saying this to me, I have the strong inclination to believe that you violated the bond conditions? Why would I do that? Why would I let you make your own orders? You want to make your own orders?
No.
I don't know what to tell you. Go to law school, run for judge.
Your Honor, I think the prosecutor was considering amending it to a no assault.
Prosecutor's not the judge. They didn't say one thing about that. No objection to pleading no contest. 769 approved. Call in. Who was the prosecutor on this one? Ms. Vella?
Yes.
Call her in. Did the victim ask that? Come here, ma'am. Can you come up here?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you go right? That is a microphone, believe it or not. It doesn't look like it. Right on that jury box there. That is a microphone. Would you tell me your name, please? Good morning, and I'm sorry your son ever did this to you.
Thank you.
Do you want to lift the bond condition?
Yes.
Why?
Well, family isn't helping him and I can't do anything for him at that point. So, and he just had surgery too.
Wait a minute. What do you mean family isn't helping him? You're his mother, right?
Yes. It's a bunch of family members, somebody who wants to help him.
Counsel, your appearance.
Mine, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Michaela Bella on behalf of the people.
What do you want to do on the bond condition? She wants me to let him back to the house. Give me a bond sheet. You have a position on this?
Your Honor, I do not. I would object.
I cannot tell you how much this troubles me. I just hate these. I really do. You know why? I just cannot imagine. I cannot imagine assaulting my own mother. I just can't imagine under any scenario people doing that. I just don't get it. Like I said, I'm not a fan of assault cases to begin with. As far as I'm concerned, anybody who wants to be the aggressor ought to figure out who the heavyweight champion of the world is and go pick on them. Nothing wrong with that. You want to go pick on them? Pick on them. It's not a problem. But when we pick on weaker people that we know to be weaker, then that is not, it makes us a bully. We're a bully. We're not a very nice person. Here's what I'm doing. No firearms, no dangerous weapons, no assaultive, abusive, or intimidating behavior toward the victim. You cannot leave the state without consent. You can't violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. You understand all that? And also no contact with prosecution witnesses. Lisa, take out those bond conditions and we'll let him go back, and you're coming back February 4th at 8:30 for a sentence. I think you'll show up, ma'am. I'd like to talk to you at that time. Will you do that for me? Thank you. Good. apologize to your mother on the way out of the building. Now you can do it. Good
I
luck.
definitely feel terrible about the whole situation. I love my mom, you know.
Oh, by the way, no alcohol or drugs either. No alcohol, no controlled substances, no illegal drugs. Okay, do you understand that? No marijuana. Okay, give me the other file, Ms. Watts, please, and we'll call that one. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's call.
All right, I'm gonna run over. We're gonna try this one more time. Let's see what we got. How about that? Let's see. Let's try that one. How about that? We got Fozzie and Linus.
There she is.
Yeah.
Howdy, gang.
Hey everybody, we're gonna try to create a chaos show. Me and Fozzie's been talking about something for the past few months, wouldn't you say, Fozzie?
Yes, sir.
And we finally figured out a time to do it. We finally figured out a time where he's off and I'm off, and we can get it done. So Fozzie's gonna ask me a couple of questions that he's got, and I'm gonna be put on the spot. He didn't give me a list of the questions, and I'm gonna try to give the best answer I can. and Linus is going to be the umpire. Linus is going to call the balls and the strikes. She's going to be the judge here.
Sure. I'll do my best.
All right. We're going to start out easy. I've been able to learn a lot about you since we've met, but tell me about younger Bill. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? How were you like as a kid? Did you have hobbies? Did you play sports?
I grew up in a little town called Bonifay, Florida. It's north of Panama City, way up in the woods. I truly love that area. If I became independently wealthy and never had to work anymore, I would go and live there again. As long as I've got to make a paycheck, I can't afford to live there. There's just not a lot of jobs in the area. You have to drive 50 to 100 miles to find any work that's going to pay anything. And so it's way in the woods. As far as hobbies, no, I didn't have any. I'm just saying that 10, 11, and 12, we'd wander the woods. We'd literally just grab rifles and go out into the woods, and we'd say we were going hunting, and we'd come back after the day. We'd go swimming, in the creeks, and luckily enough, we didn't have to worry about parents, getting on to us about anything. So, but there really wasn't much going on there. Any of the folks that lived around there that got out of there we talked about going into the military, and so the military was the way out of poverty there. And so, but no, I quit school in 9th grade, and whenever I turned 16, I got my GED. And shortly after that, I ended up getting in trouble, like kids that don't have parents around do. Ended up in jail, and ended up going to a juvenile boot camp in a forestry program, and left that program at 18. And I left in December, and then married my wife in March of the following year. So I was single and free for 4 months, and it was a good 4 months.
Oh, is Emily here? Let me look at chat.
Oh yeah, she's here.
She's there. Yeah.
Yep, she's here.
Him up.
No, see, then I got to say it's been a great 26 years. It was a good 4 months, great 26 years.
Oh,
And
nice
so-
recovery.
Absolutely. Y'all can't see the barrel. Okay, y'all can't see the barrel sticking out. So.
There she is. Hi, Emily.
I made it.
Yeah.
The screen is complete. Look at that.
That's awesome.
But no, I whenever I was 16, me and a friend broke into an old building. It was like an old auction house. It was basically a barn that they turned into an auction house. And of course, the guy that run the auction house said that he had a safe, and we stole, I think he said like $15,000, which we didn't. Committing the crime was enough, but no, we didn't steal anything of value like that. We stole a bunch of useless stuff. I'm just saying I was a little thief and did some stupid stuff, and we stole. I'm talking just useless junk, and got in trouble, but there was certainly no money. I would have been really happy if I'd have found money there, but no, we were just being kids and being stupid. We weren't going in there with the intentions of robbing the place or doing anything like that. But since I used a crowbar to break in, that is considered armed burglary because you had a weapon when you broke in. And
Sucks.
I remember going through all the trial, or I didn't go through trial and everything went through, but I never once saw a lawyer. I never once saw a public defender or anything like that. It was you go in there and you talk to the judge and then all of a sudden, boom, you're going off for a couple of years. And so, but now the benefit is I didn't really have a lot of parents around and according to my parents, they never talked to a lawyer or anything. So I don't know who signed the paperwork, but it worked out.
So was it a kind of boot camp where you could leave? I mean, because I'll throw it out there. My son went to one of those once, but they told us that we can't keep him here. If he says he wants to leave, we have to let him leave. And I think he lasted 3 days. It was supposed to be like 90 days, but was it that kind of?
No. It was a Leon County Sheriff's Office boot camp. We were brought in with handcuffs and leg shackles, and it was run by the sheriff's office. And 8 months, you're put back in handcuffs and leg shackles and transferred to your next program. And so,
wow.
But it was one they would treat it like military. You'd have to stand at attention. You'd have to run and crawl and do all the physical training exercises. And one time while we were all standing there at attention doing what we were supposed to do, one of the guys decided to snicker and laugh at the boot camp commander. And so one of the drill instructors came by and put his knee into the guy's thigh and broke the bones in his leg. And so it was that kind of boot camp. The Bay County boot camp in Panama City, it ended up getting shut down after they killed a kid.
Wow.
Oh,
and so
damn.
Yeah, so Florida had now for me it was the best thing for me. It certainly helped me change my life. It certainly helped me get on the right track. But it was certainly a rough situation for a lot of kids there. And so,
dang,
I can imagine. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So Gina asked, where did I meet my wife? I met my wife at a church dance. I literally couldn't get any better. I went to a church dance, met my wife, and we got married a week later. So
there you go.
That worked out good. I saw another one. I saw another one in there I liked. Kelly Fitz. So you didn't get a college degree. How did you get your job? I got my job by showing up for work 7 days a week. I got my job by never turning down work, watching a ton of YouTube videos on how to do, Microsoft Excel and different programs, and just not being willing to say no. And so that's how I got my job. I used to, back when I was, I'd say I was 21, I worked as a nightclub security guy, and I ended up becoming the head of security for a club right next to Club La Vila in Panama City Beach. Club La Vila was one of the biggest clubs in the world at the time, back in the 90s, and I got I got at the place next to it. So of course I wasn't there at Club La Vila, but I was at the beach resort next to it, and I ended up becoming the supervisor, and it was just simply because I showed up for work every day. There was nothing special about it. It was just, if you show up for work, you got the job. And so, but
very. And didn't you say you worked on a ambulance as well?
Yes. So I worked for the forestry department, and working for the forestry department, you become a firefighter. And so, doing firefighting, you get into structural firefighting, and doing structural firefighting, you get into wanting to get an EMT license and work on an ambulance. And working on the ambulance, I did that for a couple of years. I loved it. If I was able to move back to Bonifay, I would love to do that. I truly enjoyed working on an ambulance. Well, while working on the ambulance, I tried to move up to, working down in Panama City because that's where the better money was. And they have a mental hospital down there, and they said, hey, you're a big guy. Why don't you come work at a mental hospital? And my job was to help, I guess you say, manhandle the patients. In other words, if the patients were, intakes. And so Panama City is a rough area for the mental hospital because of all the drugs down there, and you get all the people that come in. So
sounds like a pretty intense job to me.
it was it was good. It was depressing because you get to learn about mental illness, and whenever I went there, I didn't know bipolar was actually real. I didn't know you could look at someone's lab charts and tell. So all of these folks that are nurses in here, would almost just laugh at how naive I was about medical stuff, and so
Yeah. We
So
get a
you
wake
had
up call.
no medical training though. You were just, I mean, other than
No.
like basic first aid, maybe.
no, I got an EMT license, EMT basic license, and
Oh,
so I worked on the ambulance for probably 2 years before I went to work at the mental hospital, and I truly love to. I truly love to the mechanics of working on an ambulance. I like the idea of dealing with a patient for 15, 20 minutes and then handing the patient off. I'm kind of a softie, and I don't like building a relationship with the patient, because you build a relationship with it, and no one ever calls an ambulance because things are going well in life. And so, but
that makes sense. All right, let's go to the next one. So you and I always trade. We have conversations about our children.
Yep.
But mostly it's it's focused on one child. I know you have more than one child. Tell me about your other children. How are they doing? Is everything going okay with them? And I want to know about Emily too. Other than you love her dearly and it's been the best time of your life being with her, how's Emily doing in general?
Emily's great. So we've got a 26-year-old daughter. She's just perfect. We kind of talk about our kids. Our oldest daughter is the best of both of us. She's got my straightforwardness and my determination, but she's got my wife's kindness, and she's just got my wife. My wife is really good at being quick-witted, just being able to manage situations. And so our oldest daughter is the best of both of us. Our son is the worst of both of us. He's got my anger and her insecurities. And so now, like I told you before, my son could be anything. He's just got to decide he wants to be that. My youngest daughter, she's the best of both of them. And so my youngest daughter's 17, and I guess you'd say she's typical of the new generation of kids. She's kind of shut in, kind of quiet, kind of introverted, plays on the computer, does her thing there. She's my Discord coach. But the best I can get out of her is just grunts and silence out of her. And as long as I'm getting a glare from her, I know she's doing fine. So, but the oldest daughter, she works for a human resources company, and she's a trainer. I had mentioned before, she's pregnant. She's due in April, and she was awfully nice enough to get pregnant to where she'd be due the same month she was born, so I can remember when the kid's due. And so she's helpful to us.
You haven't told me that. That's awesome.
Yep. She's due the same month. This week they're deciding it's a girl. I keep trying to tell her that. It's 2025. Maybe the kid hasn't made up his choice yet. But
It's neutral,
Yep. But no. She's just as happy as could be. She's got a husband that I was fairly certain that I would kill anyone who tried to marry my daughters. And after meeting her husband, I was like, I hope she doesn't get divorced, because I'd have to take his side. And so, because he's the best way I could describe it, he's downright perfect for her. And so, he's a very compassionate person, and he does his best to take care of her.
That's awesome.
Yes, that is incredible. So glad to hear it.
So just wait till you have grandkids, Linus.
Well, that's gonna take a while, man.
Yep.
Gotta work on that.
But you get to be Aunt Linus, and so you get to have fun there.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all the fun minus the the bad parts, changing diapers, stuff like that.
Hey, everybody, the Chiefs are up by 4. Not sure what that means.
Dang it, the Bills were winning when I came in here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I have no idea what any of that means. So
I think Kansas City Chiefs. That's about as far as I know on it. But I don't ever watch those games. Do you? Do you, Fozzie? I'm sure you.
It's right there. I'm watching it right there.
Oh, okay.
there you go.
What else you got on your list?
I've got the stream chat here. I've got the football game here, and then I got you here.
Okay.
Sounds like a good.
Next one, and I'm gonna skip ahead. You on bass, your son on lead guitar. Who would be on drums and vocals in your dream band?
Joey Jordison on drums always. Joey Jordison is the best. He's the best drummer ever. And vocals, it would have to be there. There's a he's passed away now, but it is a singer named Peter Steele. See, I'm gonna give everybody homework assignments now. Peter Steele on vocals and Joey Jordison on bass. Joey Jordison was a band called Slipknot.
Oh, that one I know.
Yep, and Peter Steele was the singer for a band called Typo Negative. Typo Negative was big in the '90s, but they're great. And KS is saying Alex Van Halen. So I do not know who that is. I know that that's somebody. I'm assuming that's Eddie Van Halen's kid.
That's his son. His brother.
Oh, his brother. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how in the world, but I missed on Van Halen. I missed it. So I don't know why. I just missed that whole era of music.
His son is Wolfgang, and I think he played bass after Eddie passed away, right?
Yep. Also, there's Painted Blonde cussing again in chat. So. Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
How dare you?
And so, Mama Corpse Paper's got a good one. Serge Tankian for vocals. I actually just introduced Linus to him not long ago. Linus, remember that System of a Down I got you to listen to?
You sent me so much
Serge
stuff.
Tankian. It was a Armenian guy.
Oh yeah, I do remember that one. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep. That was not bad, you know.
No,
I liked that one.
It was awesome. It was awesome. So I think that would be it. In all reality, like we were talking before, I've never wanted to play drums in my life, and as I get older, I'm starting to enjoy them better. I'm starting to understand it a little bit better. And but all through my childhood, it was just always bass guitar. I just loved the bass guitar. There was nothing better. So.
Hey, Linus, what you drinking?
Just a Coke. Yep.
All right.
Sorry.
And
it's
so,
Sunday. I gotta work tomorrow, man. I gotta be,
Sledge and Wedges is saying Nick Menzer from Megadeth, and I think I saw R.I.P. I didn't know he had passed away. That's sad. I really like Megadeth. Could never keep up with them though. They're way too fast. I'm just saying I enjoy listening to them, but I could never even consider playing that. And so that's. Have you ever heard of Megadeth,
right.
Linus?
Nope.
No. Yep.
That's a solid no.
Hey, Linus, peace sells, but who's buying?
Who sells?
Peace. That's a Megadeth song. Peace sells, but who's buying?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. That's something. I'll look that up.
So Ali wants to get to the juicy questions.
All right, next question. You've told me before that you've never been out of the United States. If you had a week of no responsibilities, everything's paid for, where would you go and what would you do for a week?
I'd probably go to Panama City for a week.
In Panama?
No, Panama City Beach, Florida.
No, it's got to be international. This is about
international.
leaving the United States.
Man, Florida, really? Come on.
Okay, it's got to be international. It would have to be. It would literally have to be maybe Scotland or Ireland or just somewhere in that area. I'm not all the Russian ones kind of scare the hell out of me, and I don't smoke or drink or anything, so Amsterdam doesn't seem exciting at all.
You know.
It'd be neat to see like the redneck areas of Netherlands, like where Linus is at, but I don't know if I'd want to be. I don't know if I'd want to be in the any of the big cities. But it would be neat. Times that I've visited like New York, New York City and all that, to see the buildings that are several hundred years old was amazing, because in Florida nothing's that old. And so it would be neat to go overseas and to see something that old. To see functional buildings that are that old. But in the end, I've never been interested in leaving the United States.
See, if you want to see old buildings, you go to Italy, you can go to Cairo, to Egypt, and look at pyramids. I mean,
yeah,
you have. Yeah. I was surprised at your answer. I'm just going to throw that out there.
What were you thinking?
I thought you would have had this major trip planned out in your head. You'd have goals and you'd know exactly. But to be honest, that answer kind of sucked.
Yeah. Well, so I like, I really like California, and because I like the farming in California. I like the orchard. I like the orchards and stuff in California, more middle California around Modesto area. It's just, it's really neat to see how well they've got farming figured out over there. Because to me, it's just desert. Okay, all of a sudden now nice green farms. And so it's neat. And I've never been really I'm trying to find out the least racist way to say this. I really like Mexican people, but I have no interest in going to Mexico.
Okay, sure.
And what I'm meaning by that is, like, I've been to Texas, and we have a good Mexican population here in Florida. They're great people, but I wouldn't want to get caught up in any of the politics in Mexico. I wouldn't want to get caught up trying to get across the border, because the panic of trying to get back across the border would just scare the hell out of me. And so I watched too many movies.
Yeah, and I know we traded. I sent you the story about the guy I went to school with, Mark Kilroy. He didn't have a very good trip to Mexico either.
No, and I was talking to a security guard this morning, and he was in Fort Bliss in Texas, I guess over in El Paso, and he was talking about having to pay a U.S. Border Patrol guard. They had to pay $800 to get back across the border, because I guess while he was over there, they weren't allowed to go across the border. And so he, in order to get back, they had to pay the Border Patrol guard. And so stuff like that would be enough to ruin any vacation for me.
Yeah, interesting. I've been to Mexico a couple times. I mean, it was okay. I checked it off the bucket list, but
yeah.
I loved going to Australia, and I loved going to Thailand. I had an absolute blast at both of those places.
Yeah, Tokyo and places like that would be neat. I'm just saying some of those places would just be neat to see how those cultures work. But I'm such a fanboy of Florida. I still get excited to go see an alligator. So there's nothing that nothing that I have an interest in right now.
I get it. I don't want to leave Texas either, so I do understand. But I've already been around the world, so I've done my traveling, but I do understand. All right, let's go on to the next one. I hear rumors that there's a group that might be coming to Texas in March. Are you going to be in that group, possibly?
I am trying my best to. If I can get my schedule to work out with work. Even if I have to fly there, it's only a $50 flight from Orlando. So in the end, it's a lot cheaper to fly than it is to even drive over there. And so if we can pull it off, me and Emily would certainly go. I'm just saying, I think that would be a blast. I do worry about the politics with Judge Fleischer right now, and I do worry about just all the attention around him, and with the people in the crowd. And I kind of got a feeling that if I got stopped outside the gate, going in like they're doing with people, that I'd end up having a conversation outside the courtroom, and probably never make it into the courtroom. And so, but yeah, as far as I'd love to go over there and see how the court works. Judge Fleischer would be cool to see, but I'd probably be more interested in the processes. of course, I'd be a little fanboy for Victoria and Ramona, and just seeing how the court works. I'd probably ask where Steven was. Just normal questions. Because I haven't seen him lately.
Yeah, but they got a new blonde. That's security.
I have not noticed.
Is Emily still here? Hang on.
Oh, she's here.
Lurking in the shadows.
Absolutely. But yeah, painted blonde in Revette, and I know ATX Alley's going to show up. She's got to show up, and I'm not sure. I think Gina's going to be there, and it looks like Critter's going to be there too. So it looks like there's going to be a pretty decent crowd there. I know in that we were talking the other night about if 10 or more people would show up if they'd allow it. You've been there. They wouldn't have a problem if 10 people showed up, would they? I'm just saying they can certainly accommodate that.
Yeah, but I guess, if it's busy, if it's packed, do they have the space for it? That's more of, what I thought about yesterday when I said that.
Well, you know what? A couple days before, you can go ahead and do something that ensures your appearance there.
Yeah, that's true.
Get arrested.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you, Fozzie, about Texas.
Okay.
So in order to get into let's just say in order to get into Court 5, let's say you're a defendant there, do they split up the area? Do they split up that county to where like Judge Fleischer does, like a 10 square miles or 20 square mile area? What determines Court 5 or Court 10 or Court 15? What determines which courtroom you go to?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, obviously, Judge Fleischer only does misdemeanors.
Right.
So
But I'm trying to see what determines which courtroom you end up going to.
I mean, to me, it's just like any other court. Like Judge Simpson, you'll see him on a pretrial. He'll assign it to somebody else on a certain day. I think it's just a scheduling thing. If somebody has an open block, then that's where you put them. I do not know what else goes into that thought process, though.
Okay. I'm sure Linus doesn't know.
Yeah,
you didn't pick up anything over there, so yeah. So
yeah, I did, but I was wondering the same thing. Like, who gets what? Is there a system in place?
Right. Well, we know that we know the felonies are upstairs, but in other words, how does it work for the other ones? And so Anna's saying it depends on what you did wrong. Yeah, but I've watched Juanita Jackson. She gets plenty of OWIs and plenty of the same terroristic threats and same sort of thing. And so I'm just saying, and Judge Gonzalez, he gets a lot of the same ones, and so they tend to get all the same kind of cases. I just didn't know if they split it up geographically.
Well, kind of makes sense, because it's a big court, big county, so.
Yeah. So, Fozzie, have you seen any street racing there? Have you seen any of those street takeovers?
I have not seen any of that. I stay the heck out of that city. I absolutely hate going into Houston. I don't like the traffic. I like to see trees. I like to see animals. I don't like going to that city at all.
Okay. What else you got on your list?
Got that one. If your channel made $1 million a year, would you quit your day job and just focus on YouTube?
I don't know. I don't know, and I'll tell you why. Whenever I'm at my regular job, I come up with a million ideas for YouTube, and whenever I'm doing YouTube, I can just stare at the computer screen and just feel dumb. I'm constantly thinking of things I need to do at work, so it's better for me to have multiple things going at the same time in order for me to be thinking about stuff. And so I think if I just said I was just going to do YouTube, if I was making $1 million a year just doing YouTube, I would just pay someone to do the YouTube while I did something else. And so
that's fair enough. You're a workaholic, and God bless you for what you do. And whoever has you as an employee definitely, they have a good thing.
Yeah. Now would I do court stuff? No. If I was making $1 million on YouTube each year, what I would love to do with the court stuff is, in our area on Facebook, you can see all the arrest records, and you can see just people just beat to hell on the Facebook page. And I would love to have the money to go back on you see someone just all beat to hell and they got a wild list of charges, is to go back and get the body camera video on that, and to actually have the time and patience to go through the court process with them to, to kind of do a documentary style on their individual cases. And, to be able to go through that, it would be neat to be able to see some of that stuff, follow through, like whenever we watch Judge Middleton, we'll see a case and, sometimes we remember it, sometimes we don't. And then whenever we're done, we go on to the next case. And sometimes you see a conclusion. It would be neat to see the conclusions. It would be neat to see a follow-up of somebody who actually went to jail and come back out 6 months later, a better person. And so,
Yeah.
but as far as stop working, no. I can't stand as I'm a big boy. I cannot stand sitting down for as long as these lives are. I couldn't imagine, having a job where I was just sitting down for 6 or 8 hours a day. That would drive me crazy. And so I couldn't. I think I would do the drone stuff. I would do the 3D printing stuff, and I would do the, kind of the follow-up stuff. But as far as just doing the court cases that we're doing now, I enjoy it because I'm watching it. Like tonight, I got an old Squishy Gardner clip that I watched earlier today. I enjoy that stuff, but I enjoy it just as occupying my brain. In other words, not really, not like a true passion type of thing. And so.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, next one. If every court stopped streaming tomorrow, what would you do with your channel? And get that body cam stuff out. Totally different thing.
If all courts ended tomorrow, I would, in the end, I've got all my 3D printers. I could, you could throw them on it as lives, while the stuff's printing, and people, you never believe how well you can sleep to a 3D printer. And so I'll show you a video later so you can see what it is. And so, but like on a couple of my 3D printers, everything that I make, it makes its own short. It makes a time lapse video of it, and so everything that I make makes an automatic short. And so you just throw some music on it and you put it up as a short. And people that are interested in those printers would, of course, watch those videos. And the benefits of those videos are, you don't watch them like you do court videos. Court videos, we watch it for 20 minutes and we go on to the next video. But a video like that, you end up pausing 50 times because you're trying to understand, how the person did what they did. It's just like, I'm sure you watch videos on how to fix things on your truck. You end up having to back up the video 30 times just to understand what the hell they're talking about. And as far as YouTube goes, that pays more money. The more time people spend on your video. So.
Interesting. I never thought about the 3D printers that way. I don't have one. I don't know anything about them. Your passion for them definitely makes me want to get into it, just like I got into drones because of you. But a little bit of a financial investment needed for those, though, right?
It is. Luckily enough, I make parts for work, so the most time is spent on the engineering and making the parts, and that takes a long time for me to learn how to make the parts. But making them and watching them work, I make like air conditioning bracket, air conditioning filter brackets for the trucks that we use, and getting to go to a site and seeing those brackets being used and seeing them not broken to understand that they're actually working. It's encouraging to learn that. And like I showed you where I was been working on the longest damn plane project. Working on making.
That's the next question.
Yep. All right. So everybody, I bought some plans to make a 3D printed plane, and I was so excited about it. Me and Fozzie talked about it, and that's been going on for 3 or 4 months. I started the project and then got busy at work, and so Fozzie keeps updating me, wanting updates on it, wanting to know how it's going, and it has gone nowhere. It's sitting in a box, and so got about $500 worth of parts, little motors and little controllers, and it's just sitting in a box.
I'm
So-
not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yep, me too. Me too. And so, but and
All
see,
right.
just us talking about the 3D printing, there's half a dozen people in there talking about how they'd love to learn about 3D printing, and so there's
you
always an
go.
interest in that stuff. And anytime you can kind of nerd out by stuff, it's always fun.
What would the average person do? Though I mean, I know you make things for your work. What would the average person do with a 3D printer?
So a 3D printer is great at spending $100 and 2 days of your time to make something that you could buy at the store for $5. And so, in the end, it's just a hobby. It's literally just a hobby for the regular person.
It's the idea, right, of being able to make it yourself. Just turn on the machine and make it, let it be made for you, right?
Yeah,
It's just-
absolutely. And if you like learning, I'm just saying, if you like learning, it's neat because you have to learn how the different plastics work with each other, and you end up learning about the stuff. Like I just found out today that they've got one that's 60% metal, and so whatever you make from it, it's magnetic. And so
That's pretty cool.
yeah, so stuff like that's really neat. But as far as, I don't think you could. I'm sure there's people out there making plenty of money with them. I don't think I'll ever be one of those. I think I would love, like I told you, I think I'd love to make those 3D planes and then, make the videos about it and then give away the plane at the end of the video. I think that would be something neat to do with it. But as far as let's say you want to make, absolutely. But let's say you buy one of those 3D printers and you think you're going to make those planes and sell them. Well, anybody who's wanting to, is going to end up buying the 3D printer and making it themselves. And Rivette's saying it's like epoxy hype. Absolutely. There's so many people making stuff with epoxy and stuff. Yep. So absolutely. And Kelly's talking about some criminals have made guns that are untraceable. Yes, absolutely. You can make a gun out of anything. And so a 3D printer, absolutely you can. Now, some of the ones that I've got, they've actually, the politics is getting pretty rough on it. The ones that I have, if I make a part that looks like it would be a gun part, it actually tells on me. And so now in the end, I don't mind if it tells on me. It's okay for me to have those parts. And so I'm not making anything I shouldn't have. And so, but.
Well, let's talk more about that. It tells on you?
Yes. If it makes a part that looks like a firearm part, it'll send it off to I'm assuming the ATF, and then the ATF gets to look at it.
Wow, I never thought about that. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Like
and it's more Big Brother looking over your shoulder, but that's just if you do anything with guns, you get a lot of paranoia about stuff like that, and so. But I don't ever tend to worry about it. To me, there's bigger fish to fry. There's more important people to worry about than me.
Of course.
Yeah, Critter saying that the 3D printers, that's a snitch. And so I'm sure somewhere along the way the printer companies don't want to be sued. They don't want to be, they don't want to be in the mix. And so,
Yeah.
But yes, your printers will tell on you now.
Snitches get stitches.
Absolutely.
Can't trust nothing these days,
Right. And see, Kelly, when I was a kid, I'm talking about 10, 11, 12 years old, we were making our own firearms out of just pipes and such. I'm just saying we were using all kinds of stuff to do it. I remember one time before I did one with like a 10-foot long barrel, just having fun as a kid. And so, there were some kids in my town, just really talented kids at 15 years old making suppressors, and they made some of the best suppressors you could buy. And so as far as worrying about stuff like that, in the end, if people want it, they're always going to get it. And so, Allie's on to the next question. She's tired of that question.
Oh, sorry, Allie. Hi,
Gotta
Brecken.
cater to the people,
I'm 6 foot tall, Critter. 6 foot.
I thought you were 6'3", just 6?
Yep, just 6. I'm a little fella.
Oh.
Yep. And so, Linus, I think in meters, 6 foot is like, I think 30 meters.
30, yeah, that's not bad, That's a decent size.
Yep. Gina's
Yeah,
asking how many
he's just
siblings.
little taller than me, you know.
Yep. Not by much, though. I bet you I'm not an inch taller than you. So Gina's asking how many siblings do I have? I have one older brother. You see him in the video sometimes. He'll come to the lives. His name's LD, and no one knows why his name is LD. Just the letters. That's our father's name also. So it just worked out. And I have one sister that's 18 months younger than me, and I don't expect to see her on any of the lives.
I was fixing to say, why don't we see her on the lives? But
I don't think I've talked. I don't think I've talked to her in probably 10 to 15 years now.
Okay.
She threatened to call. Lena threatened to call the police on me one day, and I was like, "Nope, done with her."
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't have that, you know.
No. In the end, it's just more redneck drama. And so.
Sure.
Okay. So
You're
Rivette,
right.
he's saying I'm 1.82 meters.
Yeah, that's just a little taller than me.
Yeah.
I'm like 175. So, yeah.
So how many meters are you, Fozzie?
Whenever I met Linus and had lunch with her, I think we were pretty much about the same height. So whatever she said.
So
Yeah.
you're at one.
You're 175 centimeters.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is in feet. What is that? 5, 6? No,
5'7", 5'8".
5'10", something like that.
5'9", 5'10", somewhere in
Okay.
there. Yes.
And that's taller. I think the normal height. I'm just saying the average height for a male is like 5'8" or 5'9". So.
I think it's 5'9", so it's
Yeah.
right there.
Yep.
All right, here's the last question I had stored for us, and it's juicy. Are you ready, Bill?
Absolutely.
I've had
Here we go.
3 law tubers reach out to me and ask if I thought you were buying subscribers because of your subscriber count. and I'm gonna be straight up. 2 of them actually accused you of buying subscribers, and one of them just asked if I thought you were. What are your thoughts about that?
If I thought I could make money with it, I'd absolutely buy subscribers. If I thought it would make money, who would not invest money? But the answer is no. I made a lot of shorts, and you can make shorts, and I've got some shorts that got over 10,000 subscribers just off that one short. And so
It's not bad.
the subscriber count means nothing. We can watch the lives, and we can see that we get an average of 30 to 50, consistently during a live. And that's not great. It's wonderful. I love everybody out in here, but it's not comparable to channels with 160 to 170,000 subscribers. Now, as far as did I buy them? No. I've never invested that kind of money into the show. I've never made that kind of money on the show. But the way YouTube works, you're never going to get your money back if you buy subscribers or buy views or buy anything like that. And they're going to penalize you for it. And that's whenever the rumors were coming out, was whenever I wasn't monetized. They would not have monetized me again if that were the case, because they can tell if you're buying subscribers. They can tell, they can, they're a technology company. They've got technology. They've got AI that's smarter than me and you'll ever be when it looks at stuff like that. And so, but yeah, like John, he likes shorts. I like shorts a lot. I don't like shorts because I feel like there's no context behind it. I feel like there's no soul behind the video. I'll use Judge Fleischer as an example. We can show him being shocking. We can show him saying something, but there's not really the story behind it to understand why he was shocking like that. One of the shorts that did the best for me was the little Monopoly girl with Judge Fleischer. And it was very successful as a short, but it didn't show her in the best light. It didn't show her showing back up the next day where she had passed the drug test. It didn't show the good parts. It was just the shocking part. And I get that that's what YouTube is about, but that's in the end, I like the longer videos. I like the actual court videos. And so And Allie's got a good point. Why would he buy subs but not buy views? Absolutely. You don't get paid for subscribers. You get paid for your views. So if you're going to pay for something that's going to pay you back. If you pay for subscribers, the only benefit I could see on paying for subscribers is if you plan to sell the channel, and you just got to build it up to where you can sell it. And that's what a lot of these AI court channels do. A lot of these AI court channels will pop up overnight, and all of a sudden they've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 100,000 subscribers, but they're building up so they can sell to, let's say me and Fozzie start a company and we want an instant YouTube channel with an instant following. We could buy it. It's legal for me to sell the channel. So like I could sell this channel tomorrow and you guys wake up and it's Nike shoes, and so that would be the reason for people, buying subscribers.
Do you remember when you sold your channel to that Bitcoin place?
Yes, that was a mess. That was a mess. That was a mess. And see, that honestly shows a lot of my personality with stuff. Because if you remember, I started American Courts 2 right at the same time. And it's simply because, there's nothing you can do. If they take it, they take it. You can cry about it or you can keep moving forward. And so to me, I was like, nope, I got to work on the next one. And so, but yeah, no, absolutely. And so it was awesome how I was able to get it back. With Meg's Crime Watch. I hadn't talked to her in a little while, but she was really instrumental in helping me get that back. Somehow she knew to go to Twitter to get a hold of YouTube people. So as a YouTube subscriber, you can't get a hold of YouTube people on YouTube, but you can get a hold of YouTube on Twitter. I guess it's called X now. I don't know what the hell it's called.
Victoria!
Hey, Victoria.
Victoria!
Oh, we got a big and raid coming.
Ooh, there you go.
Yep,
That's
there
a lot
we go.
of people.
Hey, I got my second thumbs down. There you go, Maiko.
Congratulations!
Absolutely.
There we go.
It was Maiko who gave you that second thumbs down.
I kind of got a feeling that he does that. But so whenever you first had your technical issues, Fozzie, I put Linus over there on that side, and so Linus got introduced to everybody as Fozzie.
I did see that. I had it on my iPad. I was watching my PC as it said that trying to fix itself, but I did bring it up on iPad and I did see Fozzie Linus.
I should just have convinced him that you had a makeover, and shaved. But I didn't. Yeah.
And I did see them saying you shaved. Yes, that's pretty funny.
Yep.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Bill, I got one more that's not on the list, but it just happened recently, and I think we need to discuss it.
All right, let's do it.
That Facebook Live post the other day. Oh, wow. I need your thoughts. And the follow-up, the ending question is, we discussed that you heard a rumor about one of the people on that panel. Were you able to confirm that rumor?
No, I have not been able to confirm the rumor. I'm still working on it. And I'm not yet. So here's what I think about that. I think it was just a political hit. I think they were just setting themselves up for the next election. I think it's a show that they literally didn't have anything else to talk about, and they sat around and said, "What can we talk about?" And of course Mark seems to have a soft spot in him for Judge Fleischer, and so Mark wants to bring him up at every opportunity. The Houston Chronicle drives by and Mark's got to shout out something about Judge Fleischer, and so it was just an opportunity for him, and he's got his nonprofit to go after stuff like that, and so that makes it makes sense to me. I've watched it a few more times and I actually got to learn a little bit more about it, but all of the lawyers pretty much said they don't have any business in his court, and so to me they're just doing drive-by attacks, and
weird.
And I'll bring up other creators, other people that do this type of stuff like this. You can tell the ones that are not really good at what they do because they're always attacking other channels. The ones that are good at what they do work with other channels. the ones that are not insecure work with other channels. Like, why in the world would a lawyer in that town even bring up his competition? A lawyer should be self-promoting. A lawyer should be patting himself on the back. And, judges are judges, but they're lawyers too. So, Judge Fleischer was in that group with them. Why not be touting how great they are, not talking about how bad Judge Fleischer is? And so why bring up a court they don't do business in? Now, it would be dumb for them to bring up in a court where they do business in. You don't want to go in there and talk trash about the judge you've got to go see on Thursday. But it's I like it because I like the format of the round table, but I don't like the content of what they had. I think that they didn't. There wasn't any substance. If they had anything behind it, they could have had one of those producers showing a clip. Show us the clip where Judge Fleischer was talking about that, and actually, go into it and talk about it. But they don't do that. They just say, "Oh, we heard that he does this. We heard that he does that," but no one really has any. No one really had any substance behind what they're arguing, and so.
You know what? We might have jumped ahead too far. Why don't you tell us exactly what this conversation's about? What were we in the other day?
Okay.
What did we see?
Okay, so it's a Harris County Criminal Trial Lawyers Association. To me, I guess it would just be a fundraising group. It's a group for them all to get together, pat themselves on the shoulders, and help exchange ideas and raise some money. Well, they had a whole Facebook Live that was just dedicated on talking about Judge Fleischer. They were talking about cameras in the courtroom. Now, when they talk about the cameras in the courtroom, they didn't bring up any other judge but Judge Fleischer. That's all they had to talk about. And they had no legitimate argument other than, well, in fact, they said he wears a monkey suit, and that's just a personal attack. That's just a silly attack. They actually
with the subject,
right.
It's so sick.
Right, and they actually called the viewers of court. They called them shut-ins. They said they live in their parents' basements, and
basement dwellers.
Yes.
That's us.
Absolutely.
I'm a shut-in.
Absolutely, and they. I don't know how in the heck what they were saying isn't. It just seems like lawyers would have been smarter than that, but I guess I give them so much more credit than they deserve, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I Budget, you're right. Jealousy, maybe. I truly think that it's got to do with. I think it's got to do with the election next year, and I think they're just setting up the conversation, and not really having anything to talk about. Now, what was sad was, I think there was 30 of us in the live, or 30 people watching the Facebook Live total, and at least 20 to 25 of us were, I guess you'd say fans of Judge Fleischer, or they're supporting Judge Fleischer, or they're trying to understand it from that side. And that means their live would have had 5 people watching if they were talking about pretrial detention reform. They would have had 5 people watching that day.
Yeah, silly too, because it was a big production. It seemed like a serious business.
Oh yeah. They had 30 people on the credits at the end. They had a lot of credits at the end.
5 people watching.
But
it's a shame.
But no, it was disappointing how they. If they truly had some arguments to make about Judge Fleischer, I think it would be valid, but they didn't. It was just it was attacking, and I think I made a comment to somebody. It was almost a funny comment about he's wearing a purple shirt. Mark was, and if you're going to be just as bland and boring, wear a white shirt and a black jacket. If you're not going to do that, you're making some sort of fashion decision. And to go after Judge Fleischer, now of course Judge Fleischer wears I'd say he wears some amazing stuff. I have no interest in it, but I also have no fashion sense. Judge Fleischer does. And Judge Fleischer was wearing stuff like that before the YouTube thing ever came around. When Kathy found him, he was doing the same stuff. I think he's toned it down some with the YouTube, but they also accused Judge Fleischer of cutting up the clips also. And so anytime that Judge Fleischer streamed on YouTube, he streamed his docket. We got to watch plenty of empty chairs. We got to watch plenty of just blank chairs, nothing going on, because he filmed his docket. Now now that he's not there, you know, we get the chair watch and all, but he's certainly not. I'm trying to find the nicest way to say it because I don't want to be an ass to these people. It was a trying to think what does Miss Fields call her shows? She called shit shows. Yeah, that's what it is. It was just a disaster.
Yeah.
It was a disaster, and it was just dumb. But I think that's all I got to say about it because I liked it, but I can watch boring stuff like that. They didn't have any substance. They didn't have anything that was interesting to it, and so.
I thought just bring in someone that disagrees with you and have an interesting discussion from both, sides. But
Oh
they
yeah,
didn't
yeah. That
really
would have been awesome if they literally had one person there that wanted to have a reasonable conversation. That would have been great. But it was just
it was just that.
Yep.
And just no understanding of who these viewers are. I mean, the live streams at some point had like 1.7 thousand people watching, or 1.7K. And it's not just, all fans, just, we enjoy watching people get, we get off enjoying these people get, in tough situations, which is just not true. So it's a shame, that they don't invest in learning who we really are, the people watching.
Yeah, and Nan mentioned about him talking in chat during the docket. People would beg for him to talk in chat during the docket. He would talk at the end. He would just simply say hi to people at the end of the docket. People when he would read his screen, he would read docket notes or he would read police reports or something like that. And of course, people in the chat would, he's watching us, he's looking at us. There was no way in hell he was doing that. He was doing his job. At the end, he would say hi to people, but the people that were accusing him of that just, they made up stuff. Like the guy that said he had screenshots of Discord. You notice they never showed any screenshots.
Yeah.
And if you got any screenshots, delete them, you guys.
Was that the Poindexter looking guy?
Yes. Because see, I thought it was the Mark guy that said that, but no, it was the guy in the bow tie that said that.
Yeah,
and so, and they claimed that channel Fleischer TV belonged to Judge. No, that's not his channel. Nope.
Just a lot of claims with just odd, just odd claims. It's like you're doing a stream about how court would potentially, and it's a valid argument, right? It could potentially be ruined by the internet or by the YouTube, but that just brings someone that actually brings valid points to the table. Don't do personal attacks. It's just such a shame. We could have done so much with that production too.
Wixom's asking about 6 months to get a Fleischer badge. I don't know what the heck you're talking about, but Linus will let me know what she's talking about. I know what
you're talking about. Yeah, it's the Pac-Man suit for 6 months, When you're a member for 6 months, you get the Fleischer badge.
Okay.
Pac-Man.
Wixom, just let me know what you want and we'll fix it up. I don't know how that stuff works and don't care. So just let me know and I'll get it done for you.
We'll shoot you into the future, a couple months. So
yeah. Now I'll tell you who who was the boss of that Facebook Live was Victoria.
There she is. Yeah, that's she.
That was the boss because whenever they mentioned her name, I wanted to run and hide because in the end I just kept thinking, I was like, oh no, and then Victoria's like, oh no, she's gonna double down on it and called him out on it, and that just I think I've talked to a half a dozen people about how strong, just how much of a boss she is, and so
badass. She handled it well too, like with the responses, it was so nice to see,
Yeah.
But it worried.
I was absolutely scared whenever he looked at that phone and said, "Is that Victoria, his court coordinator?" And she just chatted in there. You know who I am. She put it right back on him. It was hilarious.
Yep. And Throw the Goat talks. Middleton talks to people at the beginning of his chat. Absolutely, he narrates the story of his courtroom in the morning. And so of course that's Michigan versus Texas, but still, You know, if they wanted to truly bring up some trash about, Judge Fleischer or bring it up about cameras in the courtroom, they would have mentioned other judges. It showed that this was just a single attack on him. But I think
And it's not like no one mentioned them. Like in the chat, people were mentioning plenty of different judges, and they did seem to read the chat. So why not, jump in and actually answer these, valid points? But nope.
in the end, it was just a hit. It was just a hit job. Let's get back to court.
Let's go.
Okay, so let's talk about that one there. Emily actually brought this one up to me. They talk about the court expect privacy. They brought up if you look up somebody, you can find these people. I've not seen any of the creators. Now, look, some of the creators make some dumb titles. Some of them make some very inflammatory titles, and they do it for shock value, and it gets some views. But I've never seen a creator put the defendant's name in it. You can't type in the defendant's name into YouTube and come up with a damn court clip. Now, if you're a celebrity defendant in a court case, I'm saying if you're somebody, high profile in a court case, yeah, they'll use your name in it. But I've never seen someone in any Texas court, be listed by their actual name. So if you can research YouTube videos and find it out like that, you're awesome. And so, but let's Judge jealous of her handbag. Yep, absolutely. So I think Fozzie's like Judge Boyd's #1 fan, aren't you?
There we go.
Just do it.
Oh, okay. Now we're actually going to go to let's see. Let's go to old Squishy Gardner. Old Squishy Gardner had a great one with Judge Ricky, and he actually had two different hearings with a lady, and she was a pure disaster. And so, of course, this one's a good educational one, talking about, well, you know what, I can bring it up with Judge Fleischer. People complain that he gives people too many chances and all, and this one right here kind of shows you why some of those judges that have been there too long. We had Joel last night. If anybody remembers Joel, he came in to visit the chat and was kind of mean about Judge Simpson. Saying that Judge Simpson likes to lock people up for too long. Well, watch this Judge Ricky clip, and you'll see why sometimes judges just say, you know what, the heck with it, go ahead and let them have it. And so I
thought it was Linus that was being mean.
We'll talk about that later, Fozzie. We'll talk about that one later.
I'm always the mean one, I can't win.
No. Look, in the end,
it's fine.
If you come into chat calling people names, it's not going to work out. If you go to Discord calling people names, it's not going to work out for you. And so that's just kind of how that goes. Victoria said, "Y'all don't worry about me. I'm absolutely fine." Victoria, we're just not as brave as you. We're not as strong as you, and you showed us all how we're not that strong.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So JoJo knows this video. JoJo knows this video. So I'm going to jump in there. Hey, Derval came in, so we can start the video now. Linus, it was good seeing you. Fozzie, thank you so much for coming on the show. One day did you ever explain to anybody why you're called Fozzie? Did you ever explain that one to anyone?
Do tell.
I have. It's been a while. When I first got into online gaming, I got into a game called Rainbow Six, where you, run around and shoot people. And we started the Muppet Clan. And we all had to pick Muppet names. And I picked Fozzie. I think this was 1997, 1998. So I've just always been Fozzie since then.
Did they have internet back then?
Yes, I think I had. Heck, when I was in Hawaii before that, I had a 300 baud modem, and we would play 688 attack sub. We had to call each other. I don't think there was an internet then, but we had to call each other on the modems.
Okay. Well, see you later, Chris. Yep, absolutely. I've always been curious about the Fozzie name because I'd say the first month or two that I watched Kathy on Court Vibes, I didn't know what the hell a Fozzie was. I'd never watched the cartoon or I guess it's a puppet show. I don't know.
Muppets.
Muppets.
What's the difference between a Muppet and a puppet? Is it just a brand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd never watched it before, so I couldn't figure out what the hell a Fozzie was. But Kathy keeps mentioning Fozzie, that, and I'm like, I don't know what in the world she's talking about.
To be honest, I don't think I saw the cartoon either. Like, I mean, I just know Fozzie, like the one we see here.
Yeah.
That's the Fozzie to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Brecken's saying that we got to get her on.
Well, Brecken's been on.
Yep, she had a whole
Yeah, we need
show.
a new one.
She had a whole show, so we're
Let's
going.
bring on Victoria or someone.
Yep.
You've got to get Victoria on.
You talking about Victoria?
Come on, Victoria.
No, Victoria takes shots from behind the scenes. She won't come on. She won't come out front.
Yeah, I've tried. I've tried to get her on with Kathy too. That's a hard one.
Yeah,
I think we need to go through Michael to get Victoria on.
But you know what? We will work on that and do that because I've heard he's the reasonable one out of the two.
There you go. You're already scoring points. There you go.
Absolutely. Let's go to Old Squishy Gardener. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for coming on, and let's go to Old Squishy Gardener. Bye.
Mr. Favre, what are you doing? Help me. Please, Your Honor, I'm begging you for a second chance.
All right. This is in the District Court of Butler County, Kansas, case entitled State of Kansas versus Victoria Lorraine Williams, case number 2024 CR 28. Ms. Williams, you were late.
Sorry, there was a couple of people in front of me with walkers that he was having to scan and all of that with the metal thingy.
You couldn't have arrived a few minutes early to make sure you got checked in.
Your Honor, in regards to the allegations, Ms. Williams will stipulate and waive right to an evidentiary hearing.
I'll ask for recommendations from various persons, starting with Amber Norris on behalf of the state of Kansas.
Defendant has been on probation as of March 11th. Your Honor, it seems that been having problems from the beginning. The reporting, either rescheduling, being late, seems to be a bit of an issue. And then she was to have an evaluation in a certain period of time, and she basically lied to her court services officer not once but twice about just the scheduling of said evaluation. We're still basically where we were in March when the court first sentenced her regarding that particular condition. And it also appears that she's not going to be cooperative when it comes to UAs. She had multiple excuses why it was that she could not provide a UA at the time that he made the request. Not sure how successful she's going to be able to be on probation. I think probably her biggest issue is it doesn't seem like she can be honest with Mr. Smith or whoever is supervising her and follow their instruction.
Very well, Ms. Norris. Has there been any change in this defendant's performance on probation after you filed this warrant to show cause, which
I don't have anything at all. I haven't spoken to her since that date, showing that she's scheduled an evaluation, completed an evaluation, made a payment on her case. I don't know if she's clean or sober. So, Your Honor, based on our last conversation and no proof of anything, my position has not changed.
Very well, Mr. Smith. Mr. Favre, your recommendations to the court?
Judge, we are asking the court consider giving Miss Williams a sanction here. Miss Williams has obviously had a rough start to her probation. There's no doubt of that. It's been outlined very well by Mr. Smith. We'd ask the court to consider giving her a little bit more time to get this right. It is her first time up on probation violation here.
At this time, the court will address the defendant, Victoria Lorraine Williams, and I'll ask her personally. Does she have any statements that she wishes to make in mitigation of punishment here, or anything further that she would like to present to the court?
I did get a rough start, a lot going on, and there's no excuse in the world I can make for screwing up. I mean, I did it. I'll be the first to admit it. But it's like I asked Ryan, please allow me another opportunity to prove myself that I can do this. I don't have a choice. I have too much riding and too many people depending on me right now to be screwing up and doing this stupid shit. Pardon my French, Your Honor.
Who is depending on you?
Both my daughters. I reside with Curtis Westbrook. He's got congestive heart failure and he's got amyloidosis, which is a death sentence for him. Got a lot going on, and the life expectancy of somebody with amyloidosis is 4 months to 7 years. I can't turn my back on him, and I don't want to leave him high and dry.
Very well, Ms. Williams. Really, what the sentencing order was 6 months in the county jail.
I know.
You are given the opportunity for an alternative to actually serving that 6 months in the county jail by completing probation and its requirements. You were so inspired to be given that opportunity that you basically didn't do anything. The court wanted to take a rehabilitative approach in your case. In other words, make sure that if you had any substance abuse issues, that those got addressed early on in your probation period. Therefore, this court specifically ordered that you had to have your drug and alcohol evaluation completed within 60 days. You didn't take that seriously at all. You haven't started with any type of therapy or counseling or educational program because you don't even have your assessment done yet. And yet we're past 4 months from your sentencing date and you still haven't done it. But today you come in and say, well, I've at least scheduled it now. Well, it's a little bit too late, Ms. Williams. Either you choose to do the probation or you choose to do the jail time. It's not the court's decision here. Not really. It was yours. You had full control over whether you stayed in the community or not. You just said, I'm just going to blow this off and I'll get away with it. I think you were confident that you could just not do anything that you were specifically ordered by this court to do, and yet nothing was going to happen to you.
No, that's not
Wrong.
true.
Wrong. So what did you do, Victoria? If you want me to give you another chance, just tell me what you did within the first 4 months of your probation that should give this court any reason to believe that you could successfully complete.
Nothing. I did report. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been under so much stress and so much hanging over me, and I kind of gave up for a minute. It's like you said, maybe it is too little, too late. All I can say is at least I'm trying now. At least I'm putting one foot forward to get it done and get it done correctly.
Why did it take a probation revocation proceeding to make that happen? So now, 4 months later, it's like, lo and behold, I get it now. I could go to jail for this. And then you did not take any part of this case seriously. You didn't take any part of the probation seriously. It was just like, I'm in a rough time right now, so therefore I don't have to do this.
I can do this. I really can.
Saying it is one thing. Doing it is another.
And that's exactly right. That couldn't be any more truer. But that's why I'm asking for a second chance. This is my first revocation, so I'm asking for another chance, please.
I don't know how many chances you think you get. There is no magic number of times you get to come back and get a minor sanction or a little slap on the wrist and get another chance. This court would have to have some reason to believe that you could be 100% successful on your probation program, and the court has no such confidence. Therefore, the court will enter an order at this time, having found substantial and material violations of just about every important aspect of her probation. Court will enter an order outright revoking the probation of Victoria Lorraine Williams at this time, ordering her into custody to serve any remaining balance of the original 6-month sentence that was imposed in this case. At this time, orders Ms. Williams to the custody of the Butler County Sheriff's Office until she can be taken to the jail to serve the remaining balance of her sentence. Ms. Williams, you wanted to address the court one more time?
Yes, please. For Curtis's health and well-being, is there any way I could please request house arrest? I will do whatever. I swear to you, I can't leave him. I'm begging you. I will do whatever I have to do. I will do whatever. Please don't make me have to leave him.
Because I think under that situation, you should be allowed to make a call and let someone know what your situation is, which is essentially long-term incarceration.
Please,
okay.
Mr. Ricky, please consider house arrest, please.
I've considered it. I reject the notion that your request is rejected. Your request is rejected.
No, Mr. Favre, what are you doing? Help me. Mr. Ricky, please.
Normally I'm addressed as judge or your honor.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm just freaking out. Please consider house arrest. Please.
Judge,
I'm begging you.
Judge,
right.
I will.
Victoria, I just wish that you would have taken this case as seriously before as you apparently do now.
Please, Your Honor, I'm begging you for a second chance.
Right. But when you have those kind of stakes involving other people in your life, I would think that you would take your probation even more seriously than someone who doesn't have those responsibilities. Victoria only today takes her probation seriously.
No, Your Honor, I swear to you,
Uh,
please, please,
I
Your Honor,
understand Mr. Favre's request,
please,
and your advocacy on your client's behalf, but
please,
the court
please.
is not going to change its previous order.
No, please, Ricky, please. Please don't make me do it. Please,
All
he'll
right.
die.
Nothing you say is going to change my order at this time.
He's here. Can you talk to him?
I'm ordering Victoria into custody, and she has left the meeting, it would appear. The Williams matter will be in recess at this time, and the meeting may be ended for all. State of Kansas versus Victoria Lorraine Williams. It's case number 2024 CR 28. Victoria Williams appears from the Butler County Judicial Center Zoom location. Amber Norris on behalf of the state. This matter came before the court in July of 2024. At that time, the defendant stipulated to violations. The court ordered an outright revocation of her probation and ordered her to serve the remaining balance of her 6-month sentence in jail. Later, however, based on a request for the court to review that sentence and a request essentially for parole, this court did grant a reporting parole of 1 year on October 23 of 2024 with the requirements that she observe the law, report to her CSO as directed, not have any alcohol or illegal drugs, and pay off her case. The court did note that there were no other conditions. A warrant to show cause, which has been filed by Ryan Smith, the supervising parole officer in this case, that she failed to report as directed, failed to pay as directed, and failed to refrain from illegal drug use. Mr. Favre, what are your client's intentions here?
Regarding those allegations by Mr. Smith, I spoke to Mr. Smith earlier today, and I think he told me she was reporting, so I think that one is maybe not on the table anymore, but she would stipulate that she did test positive for methamphetamine on when tested by Mr. Smith, and also has not paid off her case yet.
What is the explanation for her failing to pay off her case?
Judge, I think it's a combination of things. She is spending significant amount of money to try to keep up her household. She babysits grandchildren. That takes up time. Her boyfriend, long-term boyfriend, Mr. Westbrook, has significant health issues. She has been having work sporadically, but she's working now, and she is working 2 jobs, taking care of him, as well as working construction jobs. So I think she's just had, a lot of time trying to get her house in order financially, as it were.
All right. But nevertheless, it is your position that her position will be that she has violated that term and condition of parole.
She has not, that is correct. She has not paid off her case yet, as is required by the court.
Mr. Smith, I suspect that at the time you filed this warrant to show cause, you were of the impression as a court services officer that Ms. Williams was not reporting as she had been directed to do. Is that a fair statement?
Your Honor, she did miss one appointment with me. That appointment was an appointment for her to come in and pay for a confirmation test. That is the one appointment that she did miss since her reinstatement.
So Mr. Favre is certainly of the opinion that she is reporting as directed since that time?
She has, Your Honor. Yes.
All right. Thank you for that confirmation. Generally speaking, I would believe you would have a due process right to a hearing where the state has the obligation of proving these allegations by a preponderance of the evidence. You could challenge the state's evidence with your own evidence and with the assistance of your lawyer, confront any witnesses unless good cause was shown. And of course, I think you realize that the court could just once again order you to serve the remaining balance of this jail sentence in the jail. You understand that?
Yes, yes, Your Honor, I do.
So do you waive any formal hearing in the case and stipulate and agree that you committed the positive test for methamphetamine and the failure to pay off the case?
Yeah, I admit I haven't paid off my case. I just got working where I'm actually getting paid and not just doing it because I have to do it. I did test positive, but it's not for the reason why you all think. It's not that I was using. It's not that I am using. I learned about meth residue and dermal absorption the hard way. I've smoked meth in my home for 3 years. Everything in my home was contaminated. I had no idea of this. I had to buy a substance that would actually help break down the meth residue before I could actually even get my home clean. I informed Ryan of every step that I took through this whole process. I let him know exactly what was going on with everything. I did finally get my home clean, got everything repainted and washed and everything broke down. But yeah, I did. And I informed him that I was going to test positive for the next test that I took because I had been doing all the cleaning, and I told him my levels were going to be high due to the amount of cleaning I'd been doing. And it was really nasty, and it was really mortifying learning about it. It was, the ramifications of an addiction are still haunting me.
Mr. Smith, do we have a lab confirmation of the positive test for meth? And your assessment of the levels? Your voice is very faded at this point, Mr. Smith. I just want to make sure everyone can hear you.
So the first test, I believe, Your Honor, was 298 nanograms per milliliter. And then a subsequent test, about 3 weeks later, 3.5 weeks later, it had jumped from that 298 nanograms to over 2,500 nanograms per mil.
All right. The court will find at this point that Ms. Williams has waived a hearing knowingly and stipulate and agrees that she's committed both of the violations that remain in this case, the positive test connoting use of that illegal substance and not paying off her case. These are substantial and material violations of the terms and conditions of her parole. Recommendation by the state regarding disposition here.
Your Honor, this is defendant's second warrant to show cause in this case. As the court recalls, we were here in July and the court actually did revoke the defendant and place her in the county jail. She wasn't there for approximately 32 days. And then the court did place her on parole. And here we find ourselves back before the court for additional violations in the case. At this point, Your Honor, the defendant has 33 days of jail time credit, and we would be suggesting to the court that the defendant's probation be revoked outright and that she serve 4 months in the county jail with credit for time served, which would be basically 2 months off of the 6 months that she had originally been sentenced. And then the court closed the case and the money to go, money's still doing it and go to collections. She's obviously not doing very well on probation / parole.
I understand your position, Ms. Norris. Mr. Smith, would you have an independent recommendation to make to the court today?
No, Your Honor, I would not.
Thank you.
I agree that her attitude has improved since being placed on back on the parole, but obviously the tests show that she still has methamphetamine in her system.
Mr. Favre, your recommendations regarding an appropriate disposition here.
Judge, this is her first time on parole revocation. Ms. Norris correctly states that she was previously revoked once for probation, as the court also noted. She has had a really hard road, but I think she has shown some promise. She had another case that was pending that she has taken responsibility for, has entered a felony plea, and that is going to be set for sentencing. It is set for sentencing in the next, I think, month and a half. Miss Williams is working, as she noted. She's also taking care of a boyfriend that has very significant health issues and is currently receiving medications through a PICC line. She's got a lot of things going on in her life that would be disruptive not only to her but to other people. She is essentially being violated for her substance abuse struggles. And I'm not qualified enough to make a claim on this dermal absorption claim of hers. I know that it's possible to have skin contact absorption. I know that much. I don't know if it's enough to justify the levels jumping, and I understand the presumption of Mr. Smith and the state. That level jump is not going to be because of dermal absorption, but because she relapsed. But I feel like she's been pretty honest about her usage lately, and she has been reporting regularly to Mr. Smith. So we're asking the court to consider giving her an intermediate sanction and releasing her on probation. Back on parole to finish up with an order to do treatment, perhaps. Previously, the court not ordered to do treatment. We'd ask the court to consider that. She obviously needs it. In the alternative, we'd ask the court to consider house arrest for whatever sanction it deems appropriate. Miss Williams is willing to pay for that house arrest, and that would allow her to continue to take care of her ailing long-term boyfriend as well as her other duties around the house.
Ms. Williams, at this time, the court will address you personally, and I'll ask you, do you have any additional statements in mitigation of punishment or anything further that you would like to present?
First, Mr. Westbrook is not my boyfriend. He's my best friend, but I just want to make that clear. He is not my boyfriend. He does have a lot of medical problems right now. He currently has a chest tube in him. He is just recovering from being in the hospital for the last 2 months with septic arthritis. I do have to administer PICC line antibiotics 3 times a day to him. I do everything for him. He can't hardly walk or nothing no more. I would ask the courts to please consider house arrest in this case. I have no problem going and taking a drug and alcohol evaluation and following recommendations with it. I have been staying clean. I regret that it was in my home. I'm working now finally. I did get a job with vaping. I do a lot of their foreclosures and cleanouts and removals for them. So I am finally making money. I will be able to pay my fines off. So I just ask that if you would please put me on the house arrest. That way I can continue to meet my obligations on the outside. I mean, I leave it at your discretion.
What about your obligations here?
Your Honor, I mean, I'm trying. I am working 2 jobs now. I am getting paid for working for Mr. Westbrook now. And I also am working so I will be able to pay the fines off now. I didn't have financial stability before. I do now. I've been working 2 jobs for about a month and a half now. I babysit my 4 grandkids for my daughters when they're working. So I do have income coming in now, which has been a big relief off of me. I just had to catch up a lot of personal bills and bills at the home, the electric, mortgage, and all that. I probably should have made a payment on my fines. I admit that. But I am working now, so I can get them paid off very quickly, next 30 days.
Ms. Williams, I do recall the hearing back in July of 2024 when this court ordered an outright revocation of your probation and ordered you to serve the remaining balance of 6 months, which was virtually all of it at the time. I know how distraught you were at the time. This court, when you were called back into court on a request that you had made, essentially the court then acting on that request granted you parole, which quite frankly, this court doesn't do in every case. And again, very frankly, rarely. Granted you one of those special exceptions, kind of like how the presidents are handing out pardons right and left here in the last month or so. It's a special release from a sentence that's been ordered and a probation that's been revoked. And I thought that I impressed upon you at the time just how important it was that since you were given truly a second chance. I mean, you were ordered to serve it all. Then you were released from that sentence early on conditions. I pared down those conditions very specifically to just 4 conditions that you had to meet, instead of that whole laundry list, which probationers generally have put in front of them to try to set you up for success. And I would have thought that you would have been so thankful about getting that second opportunity that you would have made every possible effort to comply with those parole conditions. I have had some success with parolees on misdemeanors really seeing the light, realizing how close they were to serving an entire long jail sentence. And then they take advantage of that second opportunity, and they are model persons who report to court services at that point. Well, that isn't you. The payment thing I know is difficult for someone who struggles financially. But what I would have expected from you is a regular and consistent effort every month. If you couldn't pay 50, you pay 5 or 10, but you pay something to let the court and the court services department know that you're making an effort, that you're carving out something toward your case. But that's not the most important thing here. I'm extremely disappointed that you would ever have a positive methamphetamine result. And quite frankly, Victoria, I don't buy this whole skin absorption thing. you used methamphetamine. It's a dangerous street drug that you have no business being around. And here you are with responsibilities toward children and apparently a man who relies upon you for some sort of medical and care assistance while you're using meth or you're around meth. And that those two are inconsistent in the court's view. You have not been successful on parole. But with that said, this court had entered an order earlier today in a case that has some similarity to this one. And even the state, and I think it's a very magnanimous thing that Ms. Norris recommended here to actually recommend a modified shortened sentence, which she certainly doesn't have to do. But she did here, and the court's going to grant that relief. But it's going to be in the same way that I did that for the earlier defendant in the case. Ms. Norris, it's my understanding she has 33 days of prior jail time credit. Is that
correct, Your Honor?
I'm going to reduce the sentence in this case to 93 days and order Ms. Williams into immediate custody of the Butler County Sheriff's Office to serve the remaining balance of that 93-day sentence. She apparently has 33 days. 60 more days will be served by this defendant without release privileges as a sanction for noncompliance on the structured parole that this court had earlier ordered in this case. At that point, her sentence is flattened. If it hasn't been sent to collections, the court will declare any unpaid amounts to be immediately due, payable, and collectible. Ms. Williams, you're going to need to take care of those. They're not going to go away.
Yes, Your Honor.
Collection agency, you're going to owe even more. But that's the complication you caused yourself. Ms. Norris, do you need any further clarification regarding the court's order made here today?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Favre, anything further?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, then I'm ordering Ms. Williams into immediate custody of the sheriff's representatives until she can be transferred to the jail to serve 60 more consecutive days in incarceration. And then her case will be flattened and closed. If there's nothing further, then the Victoria Lorraine Williams matter will be in recess.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching the show tonight. Thank you, Fozzie and Linus, for coming out and doing that. We're going to get better at it. We have fun with it. The Facebook Live thing the other night was really neat. I'm working on cutting it up and getting some good little clips out of it. It's a long watch and it's kind of boring and stupid to watch. So, make your choice. If you got the time, try it out. But if not, absolutely there. Somebody's winning a football game. Fozzie's giving updates on it. And I'm not sure if Fozzie's drinking, but I think he's certainly doing there. KS, I was actually going to ask about that, about the Jill Gillette thing, but I don't know about it. So I hadn't seen anything on her lately. So I don't know. Life's been busy, work's been busy, but thank you guys so much for coming out. We will see you tomorrow night. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow night. So let's do that. You guys have a great night.